The peregrine's out with the report. Martin, are you okay? Yeah, you're a terrible liar. Are you scared about the meeting? Yes. I knew for my entire life that my grandfather was a bad owl. The guardians never treated me differently, but sometimes it feels like they're waiting for me to go down that road so that they can pull me back. I tried every single day to be good, but what if I'm not? What if the thing that made him evil is inside me? The thing that made him evil were fear and his own choices. You have a choice. Do you want to hear a story? Sure. What is it? A great owl story. She was born to an owl that wanted to create the most powerful species of owl. They'd be super soldiers, created to kill anything their master wanted. Using that magic, that is dark magic, her parents fused the bloods of a burrowing owl, a great gray, a snowy owl, and a great horned owl into the egg. The owl hatched. She looked like one owl, but she had the gifts of many other owls. Any owl from her bloodline would have her gifts. So what happened to her? She turned into the greatest soldier the Owl Kingdoms had ever seen. She fought on the side of good, because that is what she chose. If someone is born from the most evil of dark magic spells and chose to do good, then I think that someone with a few bad eggs in their family tree can do good too. Thank you, Gemma. You're welcome. Gemma, who was the owl in the story? Let's go eat. I'm famished. Okay. The trio exits the balcony. Cut to Digger, Otalissa, and Cleve in the library. Okay, so according to the Peregrines, Gilfie and Primrose have to do a bunch of tasks to gain the Crawl support. Twilight and Ruby don't have the talents of full support, and Soren and Martin need to convince the Parliament to help us. So we don't know if we'll even have any support from any of the sides. We don't know how to cripple the pure ones, and the eclipse is only a few weeks away. It's starting to look hopeless. Yes, the plan is starting to feel a little hopeless. What are we gonna do? We don't have our key fighters. We still don't have a clear strategy. It's going to be okay. It'll all work out. How can you be so sure of that? Because the King and Queen trust in us to make this plan. They could have done it themselves, but they knew we'd have the wisdom to make a plan. We can do this, no matter the variables. Cleve's right. Let's focus on what we know will be in the fight. Okay, let's do this. Cleve smiles at Otalissa as they continue to plan. Cut to Twilight and Ruby. The duo are training with Palomar. I really wish you could get your dad to reconsider. I wish I could too, but he can't be swayed so easily. But we need your help. You heard the message, right? Soren and Martin have to convince the Parliament in the Northern Kingdoms to help us. Gilfie and Primrose have to do a bunch of tasks and hope that the Crawl will agree to help. And Digger, Otalissa, and Cleve are struggling to come up with a plan. I know. Then why don't you help us? Twilight, Ruby, do you trust your friends? What? Do you trust that your friends are capable of their tasks? Yes, of course we do. Do you trust that your king and queen have a plan in place should your friends fail? Yes, they usually do. Why? The talents of whole are taught that Having absolute trust and respect for others takes a special kind of inner strength. To place all of your trust in others and not interfere, despite the fear you feel within. To believe with all your gizzard that someone can prevail, that kind of trust and restraint sometimes has to be stronger than any weapon. But then, wouldn't making a backup plan be weak? No, that is wisdom and a form of compassion. To make a backup plan in the event of another's failure is compassionate, as it shows the other that you are willing to allow them to act first. In order to do this, you need strength stronger than steel. The reason that Thora does not wish to help, it is because of the secrets the Parliament at the tree had kept, isn't it? Secrets are sometimes needed. To protect others, we must keep some secrets, but we must be careful and use wisdom. The Guardians, though we respect them, had not been careful. My father and Thora believed that the secrets they kept did more harm than good. If Azorib had told at least the king and queen that he was lies, he would have been found much sooner, and the Guardians would have had enough time to prepare to fight the Pure Ones. If the Parliament had told Dewlap of her possible destiny, if Dewlap had trusted her friends and not helped Naira, then Struckstruma might still be alive. They were trying to protect each other. Deciding that you know what is best for another without speaking to them, that is a sign of a weak heart. A doctor would not tell their patient what they need in order to feel better without understanding what is wrong with their patient. A parent would not try to make their child feel better without first knowing what is wrong. And a king and queen must not exert their will upon their subjects without understanding what they need. We're done training. Join us for dinner later. Pellamore leaves while Twilight and Ruby look at each other solemnly. Cut to Gilfie and Primrose. The duo are scooping owl pellets into a basket when Fritha flies over to them. Mother and Father said that they will send these pellets to your tree as a show of goodwill. Really? Thanks. Do you mind if I ask what the tree is like? It's nice. There's always a lot of prey and berries. Madame Plunk likes to play songs on her harp, and job practice is always fun. Once one becomes a guardian, must they stay a guardian? I don't think so. Why? Nothing. Do you mind if I ask how long we have to do this? I'm not complaining, it's just that it's been days. Mother and Father wish to see who you both are inside. What do you mean? They wish to break you down. When one is at their lowest, that is when you can see who they truly are. All of our members have done this before they became true Carl. But we don't have much time until the eclipse, and you better help Mother and Father make a choice soon. After this, you have to hunt, polish your armor and weapons, watch the owlets, and spend the rest of the night on guard duty. Fritha leaves them to continue their tasks, much to their annoyance. Cut to a montage where Gilfie and Primrose hunt for snakes, polish some battle claws, and show their work to an owl who orders them to do it again. Struggle to watch the owlets who run everywhere screaming and trampling over the duo. Then they silently sit on a rock while they listen to the Carls celebrate within the tunnels. The montage ends with Flinn and Freya joining them, while Fritha gives Primrose and Gilfie a small mouse. Sorry, that was all that was left. It's alright. Are you ready to talk about an alliance with the tree? Not yet. But we did the tasks, just like you told us to. We're just not sure. Maybe if you did them all again with a better attitude. A better attitude? Smile a little more. Sound less frustrated when you're told to do something again. Stop complaining when outlets trample over you. Maybe catch a little extra prey next time. Maybe you'll actually have a decent meal next time. We don't have time for games. Hey, be happy we're even considering this. Our members could die if we just throw them into war. We'll see you tomorrow night. Bye-bye. The trio leave, much to Gilfie and Primrose's frustration. Cut to Soren and Martin, who are standing in a hallway as dozens of owls fly into a courtroom. Gemma flies to them. Good. You have Ethelred's battle claws and helmet on. Are you two ready? I guess. I'm not. What if we can't get them to listen? What if they decide they can't trust me because of my grandfather? Are you sure you can't help, Gemma? I have to stay in the hall. There can't be any interference from me. Martin, I promise you that the only ones who care about your bloodline are the bad guys and you. If Ethelred thought that you would be judged on your bloodline, he would not have put you through this. The Townsville believe that when birds work together, the rich noble owls are no better than the destitute birds. I need you to believe that, okay? And trust me when I say that Ethelred believes in you too. This is why you were both chosen. I believe in us too, Martin. We've come too far to give up now. Moss flies to them. It's time. Okay, I'll remain out here. Good luck is for if the odds aren't good. Soren, Martin, you've got this. Thank you, Gemma. We'll succeed. Soren and Martin fly to the center of the room while Moss flies to the pulpit. Martin fearfully glances up at Skinch and Sporn, who have been tied up, muzzled, and placed on one side of the scales of a Lady of Justice statue. Parliament, you have been called here today to hear the plea from the heirs of the great hero, Lies of Kiel. Introduce yourselves, heirs of Lies of Kiel. I am Soren, Yoi Strashen Taito. My birth mother was Morella. My birth father was Noctis. A boreal owl named Grimble taught me to fly. The guardians taught me to fight. I have accepted Lies of Kiel, now Ethelred, as my father. I am Martin, Yoi Strashen Gahul. My birth mother was Marble. My birth father was Tinsmith. A great grey owl named Elvin taught me to fly. The guardians taught me to fight. I have accepted Lies of Kiel, now Ethelred, as my father. And why have you come here today? We have come to ask you for help in attacking the Pyramids during the upcoming lunar eclipse. The leader, Metalbeak, has created an egg with his mate, Naira, that will hatch on the night of the lunar eclipse. The Guardians have saved the egg, but the King and Queen believe that they will launch a counterattack to take back the egg. We understand the severity of the situation. However, you must understand our hesitation. In the centuries after Hull's time, the northern kingdoms have been caught in a near-constant battle. Peace has hardly lasted for more than a few years. Thanks to Lies, this is the longest we have gone without any war. Though many have entered our kingdoms, and many have left over the centuries, We have still tried to keep the southern kingdoms out of our conflicts, and we have tried to keep out of yours. Why? I suppose it has to do with pride. The northern and southern kingdoms were ruled by kings and queens during the times of Hull and the Bird Wars. They were close friends. However, over time, the southern kingdoms became democratic. They were still called kingdoms, but the kings and queens began to step down. The rulers of the northern kingdoms attempted to dissuade them. They argued that having elected leaders could cause our nations to become divided. For if the elected leaders had greed in their hearts, they could destroy the fellowship. Kings and queens are raised to be noble leaders. The southern kingdoms argued that the birds could decide for themselves if the leader is bad, and if a mistake is made in choosing their leader, they can remove them from power. Besides, it removes the stress of having to raise a noble ruler, and any bird can choose to lead. Be they rich or poor, they can lead. Our nations argued and fought until the guardians stepped in and made us split apart. They made us rule our nations our way. Ever since then, we've kept our nations separate, divided by the rift. We used to meet at the tree. We haven't met there in so many centuries. But then, isn't this the best time for us to fix the rift? Martin's right. I don't know which way is better. Perhaps no way is best. But I don't think the Guardians wanted us to be apart for so long. And I really don't think they wanted us to stay apart during a time of war. Ethelred always said that when the Guardians are divided, that's when the enemy will strike it down. It's the same with the Owl Kingdoms. If we are divided, the Pure Ones will destroy us. We can't let that happen. We can't let them kill everyone for the sake of title supremacy. Please, now is the time for us to band together, to make a future where there is no more suffering, where everyone can be happy. Do you truly believe that destroying the Pure Ones will solve all of our problems? No, but it'll be a start. I see. You have given us much to consider. Thank you, Martin, Soren. You both may leave while we discuss your plea. Talk. Soren and Martin leave the room.